conference participants. My name is Crystal Morris. I'm with One Caring Adult, and I'm joining you today to present on emotionally intelligent leaders and building inclusive, healthy workplace cultures. So a little bit about myself. One Caring Adult is a Florida certified woman and minority owned business in the South Florida area. And my focus and my team's focus is heavy on creating those culture assessments throughout organizations, meeting facilitations to move from circular conversations to getting to more generative language, leadership development with one-on-one and group coaching, and using those tools to build out a strategic plan to help you reach your intended goals and outcomes. So a lot of people probably heard emotional intelligence. Research shows emotional intelligence is the #1 predictor of success. And we know leaders who display high degrees of emotional intelligence, they run smoother ships with more engaged staff. So this is a breakdown of emotional intelligence in this wheel. It measures self-perception, self-expression, interpersonal relationships, so the relationships between you and others. It looks at how you make your decisions in the midst of stress and how you tolerate, you manage those stresses so that you're not projecting them onto others. An easy definition to use for emotional intelligence is it is the ability to understand, to use, to manage your emotions in a positive way to relieve stress, to communicate effectively, to empathize with others, overcome challenges, and diffuse conflict. So on the outside of the circle, you'll see the word stress, empathy, bias, and conflict. We all experience stress. That is a non-negotiable in life, whether it's your alarm clock waking up in the morning and having to get up in that jolt of adrenaline, or driving in rush hour traffic and someone cutting you off, or dealing with something traumatic. We all experience stress. The more we experience stress, we lose something first. The first thing we lose is empathy. The higher our stress levels, when we don't know how to manage them effectively, we lose our ability to empathize and to show compassion to those around us. What does increase on the other side are the things towards the bottom. Our biases tend to increase because our brain is looking for a way to short circuit all of our decision making. So we instantly go with, what do we think is true? What stereotypes have we heard? And those are when the biases get projected. And because of that, we see an increase in conflict. An emotionally intelligent leader has the ability to understand themselves, that self-perception piece. So what am I good at and what do I need support of? What am I feeling? How are my feelings lending themselves to the things that I'm trying to do and accomplish? And how aware am I of all the things that are happening inside of me? The more aware we are, the more we're able to control that expression. So if I know I'm angry, I'm fully aware of the fact that I'm angry and what contributed to the anger. Then going into the board meeting, I'm not projecting that anger onto someone. I'm not sharing that with my direct reports because I'm able to be assertive in that moment and to channel that in a more healthy form. When we have people who are aware of what they're feeling, they can name it, so they can tame the expression, name it to tame it. They can tame how that thing shows up in the workplace. You will see healthier relationships. So managers and leaders and executives, administrators, those who run organizations who are healthy in awareness and healthy in the management of their emotions tend to build healthier relationships with their teams. You listen more, you ask more questions. You're not projecting anger for something else onto someone else and causing harm to happen to that relationship. So you'll see stronger relationships, a lot of empathy and grace being shown both ways, but you'll see a commitment to social responsibility. I care about you. I care about the things that are happening to people in your backgrounds, your identities, your lived experiences. So I will show up and I will be more attentive to your needs to ensure while you're at work, you're safe. When we build those healthy relationships with our team, what we'll realize oftentimes is that decisions are easier to make. When we make decisions and they're based in emotion, they're irrational a lot of times because we haven't spent time looking at the facts that exist. So when we check our emotions to the side and we look at logic, we're able to solve the true problem, the root cause, instead of getting distracted by symptoms, by the fruit, instead of getting to the roots. So an example of that from just a medical perspective to drive it home, it is literally the difference between giving a person a Tylenol for a headache or giving them a CAT scan to realize that there is a tumor pressing against their brainstem. You can get rid of the right now symptoms for some instant gratification, but the long-term results are deadly. And if you're making those really good decisions to lead to effective problem solving, you'll realize the stress management level is so much better. You'll have people who are more flexible, more adaptable. They're more optimistic that positive outcomes are going to come because they're managing their stress in such a meaningful way. So having heard all of that, it shouldn't be surprising that the emotionally intelligent leader will be able to create psychological safety for the individuals in their team. It is really important to talk about diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging. All of those concepts, they're huge concepts that unfortunately a lot of time get a bad rap because they're so misunderstood. But at the root of all of those acronyms, at the root of all of those concepts is the need for psychological safety for the individuals that are a part of the group. And psychological safety says, I am seen, I'm valued, I'm supported, my voice has enough power to challenge the status quo. I can make mistakes and not fear retaliation. I can hold you accountable and I can be held accountable because there's this trust that exists. We're all in this together. Rising tides lift all boats. So emotionally intelligent leaders create spaces where a lot more psychological safety exists. In the absence of psychological safety, what we see is corporate trauma. Corporate trauma is that thing that causes your most passionate team member to become your most silent team member. So take a second to think back. In your teams, was there a person that always had their hand up to share an idea? Was there a person that was always ready to volunteer to be a part of the problem-solving team? Was there a person that always had something innovative to share because they were so committed to the mission and the vision of your organization? Where is that person now? Is that person still there? Is that person still talking and sharing ideas? Or is that person starting to become disengaged? Are they silent? Are they showing up less and less to work on time? Are they taking a lot more sick days? Are they not being as happy? Is their face changing? A lot of times we'll see it where the smile has turned into a frown. If that is happening, that could be a key indicator that there is no psychological safety present or it is very low. Your trust in your organization amongst your team members, it's a low trust organization. And the need for emotional intelligent leadership is ever present so that you can start to build that psychological safety so that you will keep an engaged and dynamic and innovative team. So some things that to question or to encourage your team to question, for you to ask to see if their responses are in alignment with what you see as the hope and the value, the core values of your organization. Are you able to make mistakes and not fear retaliation or reprisal? Can you openly contribute to the team dialogue? Not just being included for representation's sake, but can you open up and share the ideas that you have? Do you benefit from just and fair treatment? Are you able to work autonomously, not being micromanaged? Once effectively trained, and demonstrating the capacity and the capability to deliver outcomes intended? Are you able to express dissent, push back against the status quo, challenge authority when needed in order to achieve the declared outcomes of the organization, and doing that without any fear of punishment or marginalization? There is a wonderful book that I recommend you reading. It's called The Waymaker. And the author in the book talks about, you have your core values, organizations, leaders, your core values. You have your beliefs. What do you think is true and real in the world? And then you have actions. It's not your core values that drives the actions of the leader or of direct reports. It's your understanding about what is real and what is true. It's your belief system. If you exist as a leader in an organization and you think psychological safety is there, you think diversity is there, you think equity is there, you think inclusion is there, you think fairness and the sense of justice and belonging is present, there's no need to do anything different. If it's not broken, don't fix it. But if you believe that there is an issue with psychological safety, there is an issue with inclusion, there is an issue with belonging, then you will be so much more committed to not only doing the work, but making available the resources to ensure success. It's not just the checkbox of doing a one-time, one and done event, but it is truly embedding this culture of psychological safety in all areas of your organization. And when that is done, then we will see shifts that we can measure. Again, it's not your core values, it's your belief about what is real today. And if you believe a change is needed, that will activate your core value of psychological safety. That will activate your core value of equity and of inclusion and of justice. You have to believe a problem exists. And the bigger the problem, the more passionate you will be about solving that problem in a meaningful way that will yield the impact that you need to see. Some hallmarks real fast of what an emotionally intelligent leader is and what they look like. They know that you don't manage, but instead you mentor. You celebrate wins and you celebrate progress, because that is the goal. Progress, not perfection. Perfection is elusive. You'll never capture it. It's like the bucket of gold underneath the rainbow or that four-leaf clover. We know as emotionally intelligent leaders, we celebrate progress. We look for opportunities to coach continuously, and evaluations are not just a once-a-year activity, but it is something that happens throughout that individual's time. You look for every opportunity to coach for implementation. It is not a gotcha moment. Gotcha moments robs trust. Gotcha moments rob psychological safety. You manage conflict at the beginning. You understand that conflict is not an attack. Conflict is not a sign of confrontation or worry. Conflict is actually neutral. It's not a good or bad thing. But conflict, if channeled appropriately, is a signal that change is coming, and that change is going to be uncomfortable. But if you bear down and you push, you will birth something beautiful. Deal with conflict at the beginning. Don't wait until it becomes this really big thing that is insurmountable. The last thing that I'll mention from this slide, you can see all of the rest of them, is accountability. If you ask me, Crystal, how do you define accountability? I say accountability is a love language. It is my commitment to your success that I'm willing to hold up a mirror in front of your face to reflect to you that there is some misalignment between your core values and your actions. And the thing that you need to challenge is, what are you believing? What is true about this experience, about this situation that you think is true, but in reality of the people experiencing it, it's just not. And when we get into alignment, magic happens. That's accountability. And that is why accountability is not an attack. It is, in fact, a love language. Some quick data about what emotional intelligent leadership can yield. 76% of employees say that they feel emotionally intelligent leadership creates a space where they're valued, respected. There is a higher instance of job satisfaction. When we're happy at work, we are more productive at work. We yield greater outcomes, and that benefits everyone, not just the employee. A second takeaway from emotionally intelligent leaders, 63% of employees say that they will stay with a leader who is emotionally intelligent because they value their well-being. Human capital is the most important commodity, the most important resource in any organization. If you want a healthy organization, build healthy workforces, prioritize the well-being of your human capital. It will lend you ROIs that are through the roof. So that is the end of my share. I would love to be able to come in and partner with you to really walk you through what the emotional intelligent leadership looks like, starting off with an assessment to see where you are, your opportunities for growth, your strengths that we can leverage into even greater strengths, but more importantly, to help you with getting your core values and your actions to match by informing your belief systems. My email address is listed, support@iamonecaringadult.com, and the phone number is there, 772-240-2301. My name is Crystal Morris. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to helping you become an even more emotionally intelligent leader. Have a great day.